Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, B'chakudash. Giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and shalom and salutation to all your sincere Akim across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasamagan from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem B'chakudash, to feed the elect. Now, this is going to be another installment of Learn of Me. As we know in the scripture, in Matthew 11 and 29, Yahawashi said that those that are heavy laden with burdens to come towards him and to learn of him. Because we know that the hopeful elect understand that the only way to salvation is through Yahawashi. All right, so the better you know of Yahawashi, the better you understand Yahawashi, the more faith you will have in Yahawashi. All right, and of course, in this lesson, we want to deal with the particular situation that happened in the garden the night when Yahawashi got arrested. And I wanted to focus on something that happened when Judas basically appeared with a bunch of men with weapons, getting ready to basically apprehend Yahawashi. And there was an actual instance where Yahawashi looked at him, right? He looked at him and basically a standard, and he set up a standard. It was on a lower level, but it was an example of, what's going to take place in the upcoming days and months when all hell breaks loose here in Babylon, a.k.a. the United States of America. When the mark of the beast, which is a microchip, is established, there's going to be a lot of chaos. It's going to be persecution. The hopeful elect, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 144,000 are going to be persecuted. And when those armies show up, just like this, small group of men showed up, Yahawashi, the Spirit of the Lord, is going to actually lift up a standard, and similar things that happen in this particular incident is going to happen with the hopeful elect, and we have to have faith in that. All right, so now let's go to straight to the story. This is John chapter 18. The subtitle is Judas betrays Yahawashi. It says John 18 and 1. It says, when Yahawashi had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Cedron, where was a garden, into the which he entered and his disciples. And Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place, for Yahawashi oftentimes resorted thither with his disciples. Verse 3, it says, Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, cometh thither with lanterns and torches and weapons. All right, so when you have a weapon, it's a sign of aggression. And as we know, when this economy and when this government starts to really collapse and you have riots and all these different things, we know according to the scriptures that there will be a persecution among, on Israel, and primarily the men of the Lord. All right, they're gonna try to come late at night, trying to, break down doors and arrest brothers and trying to do different things. All right, so now verse 4, it says, Yahawashi, therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, whom seek ye? All right, so he didn't run. He just went towards them. He knew what time it was. They answered him, Yahawashi of Nazareth. Yahawashi saith unto them, I am he. And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with them. All right, so he stood to him. He stepped up to him because they was coming in with aggression. So he stepped up to him and he said, yo, who you looking for? And they said, we looking for Yahawashi, and they were looking, they were ready for all the smoke basically, because they had weapons. So he said, I'm right here. All right. Now check this out. It says, as soon then as he has said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground. Now, the reason why this happened is because of spiritual presence, right? What they felt basically is what you call instincts. It's kind of like when you like in these cartoons and characters and all that, they have something like Spider-Man, right? They have something called a spidey senses of instincts. When you sense that if you make a step forward, you basically, like, your senses are telling you this is a dangerous place. That's called a dominant presence, which is really a outpouring of spiritual power or spiritual presence. All right, now I'm gonna read a little commentary because I was digging in to the background and certain commentaries that kind of that I read, and I kind of liked it, because it kind of goes into the spirit when you understand, like you got a bunch of men ready to bring to arrest the Lord, all right, and for him to stand up to them and say, hey, I'm the one you're looking for, and they fought and they fell, a whole group, and they fell backwards. That means there was a force that emanated out of him when he said that. All right. So let's read this commentary right quick. I'm gonna skip straight to the point. Yahushua's arrest. So let's go to John. There you go, right there. John 18:4-6. It says Yahawashi speaks to Judas and the detachment of troops. It says, Yahawashi, therefore, knowing all things that will come upon him, went forward and said to them, whom are you seeking? They answered him, Yahawashi of Nazareth. Yahawashi said to them, I am he. And Judas, who betrayed him, also stood with them. Now, when he said to them, I am he, they drew back and fell to the ground. Now, I like this commentary, right? Because it's let me see. Let me jump straight down to C, when it says Yahawashi of Nazareth. It says this was the common name that Yahawashi was known by. Yahawashi wasn't normally identified by his role as a rabbi or carpenter, and not by his apparent parentage. All right. Joseph. All right. It says Yahawashi chose and received the title that identified him with Nazareth. As we know, Yahawashi was born in Bethlehem, but he was raised in Nazareth. All right. So, because the prophecy said he would be born, the Savior would be born in Bethlehem. So now it says they called him Yahawashi of Nazareth by way of reproach, to say he takes it upon him and wears it for a crown, and should not we do likewise? Because Nazareth was a third-rate city. All right, it was a third-class citizens that lived in Nazareth for the most part. All right, so now let's go down here, and it says the soldiers had come out secretly to arrest a fleeing peasant. In the gloom, they find themselves confronted by a commanding figure. I'm going to read that again. The soldiers had come out secretly to arrest a fleeing peasant. In the gloom, they find themselves confronted by a commanding figure who, so far from running away, comes out to meet them and speaks to them in the very language of deity. All right, meaning a powerful presence and authority. All right, it says now it says the Greek ego Amy, rendered I am he, might well suggest divinity to those familiar with the Greek Bible. All right. And when you go to you go lower down the paragraph, it says, now when he said to them, I am he, they drew back and fell to the ground. When Yahawashi declared his divine identity in the words I am he, right? It says, Judas and soldiers all fell back. There was such a display of divine presence, majesty, and power in those two words that the enemies of Yahawashi were powerless to stand against them. All right. Here our Savior let out a little beam of the majesty of his deity. You see that? What's that little beam? When he spoke, it was energy. He spoke, and then a spiritual presence and power emanated out of him. That's why they fell. They just didn't, because men in the ancient times was rough as hell. I mean, these are guys that would go to war, having so-called, like they say in the world, having bodies was nothing really, strange to people back then. Like, even back then, the judgment said that like, you had a person who committed an abomination should be stoned to death, and the people had to come out and stone him. So you would have had participated in at least a couple of stonings. So having taken a person's life was not that strange back then. So men were just tougher and accustomed to that. So for a group of men coming in with this type of smoke, so to speak, and to fall back like that, clearly, it was a display of a standard. It says, here our Savior let out a little beam of the majesty of his deity, and 500 men fell before him. All right, this shows that Yahawashi was completely in control of the situation. As a practical matter, Yahawashi did not have to go with this arresting army led by Judas. With the Most High's power expressed through his words alone, Yahawashi could have overpowered them and easily escaped. All right. Our Lord chose to give them this proof of his infinite power, that they might know that their power could not prevail against him if he chose to exert his might, seeing that the very breath of his mouth confounded, drove back, and struck them down to the earth. All right. So yeah. So, and this even more on that, but like I like that that comment right there, because it basically shows you that at that particular moment, it was an example of the standard. And Yahawashi did that primarily, protect his disciples, because he knew he was the one that was supposed to be arrested, but it was also a move that was made so that the disciples would see that. I mean, every move that was made was calculated through prophecy, and it was done for a reason. Now let's go to modern day time, and we jump forward to 2023 and moving forward. We're going to have armies persecuting us as well for standing for Yahawashi's namesake. This is Isaiah 59 and 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. All right. Now, when you go, and that standard is exactly what was displayed, but on a much higher level, of course, because in 2023 and beyond, you're dealing with a level of just the military might that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and his institutions and his armies. The level of weaponry is of course at a higher level. So the standard that's going to be displayed is also going to be at a level slightly higher, so we could protect. We could be protected, basically. Now let me see. It was a particular version that I read that I liked. Let me see. There you go. All right, let me see. It says, all right, there you go. This is the YLT, right? Well, I don't know what that stands for. It says, and they fear from the west the name of Yahweh, right? It's Jehovah right there, but it's Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. It says, and from the rising of the sun, his honor. When come in as a flood doth an adversary, the Spirit of the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, has raised an ensign against them. All right, an ensign is also a banner. All right, a standard. Now, yeah. So now let's go to another proof of the fact that and that's the reason why when we it's imperative for us to push this truth, because there's an old saying, speaking truth into power. That's literally what's going to happen. And that's what the Lord is teaching us, that first you got to speak truth, and then the truth manifest himself into actual power. All right, now this is 2nd Ezra 13 and 3, right? This is when Yahawashi returns. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Once again, you see that presence, right? And in this time, he's got a whole army. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burnt. You see that? True, it's words into power. All right, speaking truth to power, words into power. All right, it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. All right, so he's going to give the order, and then the chariot's going to just shoot out laser beams. So again, that's why I listen. There's two levels to this truth. First, we got to speak the truth, and second, the truth is going to be manifested into power. All right. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 4. I'm going to start at 3, actually. It says, and I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. Verse 4, it says, and my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power. All right. So you gotta have the Spirit, the demonstration of the Spirit and power. All right. You look up that word demonstration. Let's look up the word demonstration in the Greek. All right. It says a making manifest. All right. A making manifest. So it's not just about words. It's just eventually the words have to manifest into something, into a power, basically showing forth. All right. So when Yahawashi said, I'm he, when he said that, they heard him, but he emanated a presence and a power that basically pushed them and made them fall back. All right, and it's like almost like 500 men. I mean, it was a bunch of dudes with swords, real confident, and they were ready for all the smoke, basically. But the Lord was like, nah, man, you only gonna do what you're allowed to do according to prophecy. When you look up the word demonstration, it says proof that something is true. All right, so we can speak about Yahawashi, all powerful. But, first we have to speak, and then we have to believe. But then it will come a time where it's going to be manifested when we speak. When we call upon the name of Yahawashi, power is going to actually emanate out of us. Just like it, emanated with Yahawashi when he said, I'm Yahawashi. He, power emanated, because he spoke truth. All right. And when we're going to speak the truth as well, power is going to emanate from off of us. All right. In many ways. So that's going to be the standard that's going to be established. That's why we don't fear that, Esau and his troops and his persecution. All right. Because we believe these words and to be true. John 14 and 12, it says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go into my Father. Yeah, I mean, if the Yahawashi, he knows that the things that we're going to have to face in these upcoming months, as this society collapses and the tyranny comes in and all the different mercenary get sent into the, into the different neighborhoods to basically persecute and arrest us. Something powerful is going to be is going to be needed as a response, to that aggression. All right. So let's go to all right, and this is 2 Ezra 16 and 70. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. There shall be like mad men, sparing none. Those are those mercenaries, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. All right. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold, as the gold in the fire. All right. So how's it going to be known? Because it's going to be a distinct presence that the men of the Lord are going to have. All right. But 2/3 out of the nation of Israel, they're not going to receive that. All right. They're going to be absolutely destroyed and devastated, as this chapter finally comes to a close. All right. the chapter of Babylon, aka the United States, finally comes to a close. All right, so basically that's all I had. I'm gonna conclude with Matthew 11:29. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest into your souls. So yeah, that's what I wanted to bring forth. I wanted to expound a little bit on that particular moment in time when Yahawashi basically showed a small portion of that standard. All right, that we're looking forward to experience as well. Lord willing, we're part of your elect. All right, so with that, I'm going to say, Call Halam, La Yahawashi, Shah, double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom and salutation to all you sincere Akim across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. Stay strong, stay faithful. Shalom.